Hey guys, welcome to my channel. Welcome to today's topic video. And that is a few tips and advice on how you can speed up the wait process if you want to buy that beautiful Rolex Explorer or Submariner or GMT Master. There's some things you should do and there's some things you should not do if you want to speed up that wait process. Because, let's be honest, everybody seems to be waiting for these hot watches. And I'll begin by dispelling a myth. There's this myth that's passed around that Rolex is purposefully constricting supply of these desirable sport pieces in order to boost brand desirability, brand image, and kind of move upscale in the watch market closer to Patek and have their sister brand Tudor kind of fill the shoes that they leave behind. That's just not the case. I know a few people that work at Rolex authorized dealers around the country, and they've each told me independently that they are not seeing a drop in the number of Submariners and Explorers and Hulks and Pepsis and Batmans that they're getting in. In fact, it's the opposite. They're getting more watches than they ever have in their recent history. The only difference is they're just selling them really quickly. I remember the day where this was probably 5 or 6 years ago, where I could walk into my authorized dealer and try on a Sea Dweller and a No Date Sub and a GMT Master 2 and a Milgauss, and they had everything in stock. But that's not the case these days, and that's not Rolex's fault. They're not restricting supply. The only difference is there's just a huge demand. The economy is strong, unemployment's low, stock market is high. People have discretionary income for silly luxury purchases like watches, and so there's a high demand. How are you going to get closer to the top of the line, closer to the top of the list? Because lists nowadays, they're not chronological. You're not going in and saying, hey, put me on the list for a blue steel Sky Dweller, and they'll go, oh, okay, yeah, you're number 15. We'll call you when it's in. That's just not how things are done anymore. What happens is ADs, like it or not, they're very selective on who they sell to and when they sell that watch to you. And that's just the way it is. You may not like it. You might feel like you're entitled to buy whatever Rolex watch you want, whenever you want, but that's just not the case. Rolex doesn't owe you anything, and neither do authorized dealers. It is entirely your responsibility to build a genuine professional working relationship with your authorized dealer. Let them know who you are, and let them know that you're serious and that you want to use and love these watches, that they're not going to be sitting in a safe collecting dust, or worst of all, being sold on the secondary market, being scalped so you can make a quick buck. They have to be very judicious in who they sell their watches to. So what can help you? Well, go in and meet your authorized dealer if you haven't done that already. It's not an intimidating thing to do. In fact, it's a lot of fun to go in and try on watches and get to know the people that work there. I find it really enjoyable. I've gotten to know Bruno and John at my Rolex authorized dealer. I've bought watches from each of them. It's always a fun thing, and I try to bring some chocolates or donuts when I go in, because I like talking watches with them, and I'm not brown nosing, I'm not smarming up to them. I'll tell you what, people can see through that a mile away. So just go in, be genuine, have a good time, and let them know who you are, that you are serious, that you would love to buy that Explorer, that Submariner, and that you're willing to do the things to make that happen. Now, you don't necessarily need to have a purchase history to get some Rolex models like an Explorer, or an Air King. Air King's actually probably easier to find than you would think. But if you want the Hulk, you want the Pepsi GMT Master 2, or the really hot watches like the stainless steel Daytona or Sky Dweller, you definitely need to have a pretty serious purchase history. So start that up. Buy that Seamaster, that Speedmaster, that Black Bay from your authorized dealer. Buy your wife some nice earrings, or if you need a new wedding band, buy that from the authorized dealer, provided that they carry other things besides Rolex. So start that working relationship, and I would suggest not going to the top salesman right away, the guy that's been there the longest, that has a huge client list. Because if you're just starting your purchase history, even if you're buying a Speedy and a Black Bay and whatever else, and you're starting to spend money there, I guarantee you, if you're going to the top salesman, he's got clients that have spent hundreds of thousands of dollars in that store. And in some markets, millions of dollars. So just keep that in mind. If you're going to the most established veteran there that sells watches, that has been there for 10, 15 years, he's got some really good clients that he wants to keep happy. So you're not going to be anywhere near the top of the list if you're going straight to the top dog. So I would suggest, get to know the sales associate that's a little bit newer, that's, only been there a little while, and start your purchase history with them. Be one of their top clients. So when it's their turn to sell that Hulk or that Pepsi or, that Polar Explorer, you're near the top of the list and you have a great relationship. They know you're a serious buyer. You're much more likely to get that call or text from them than the top salesman, if that makes sense. So in the end, it really is up to you to build a nice professional working relationship, being genuine, being a good person, remembering that the guys that work at Rolex authorized dealers, in many cases, they're crazy watch nuts just like you and me, and they enjoy having a good watch discussion, getting to know you, getting to know your collection, the watches you want to get next, talking about their own collection, just doing the things you would do with your friend, right? Talking watches just like you would with your other watch buddy. So be genuine, be a good person. The responsibility is entirely on you. Rolex doesn't owe you anything. Authorized dealers don't owe you anything. It really falls on to you. Some people talk about the Rolex bubble and how it's about to burst. And certainly I think some things are a little ridiculous, like the aftermarket prices on some of these watches. I think eventually those will come down. But I do not see the demand for Rolex changing. I do not see the supply dramatically increasing from Rolex, even though they're still producing a lot of watches over there in Switzerland, more than they ever have. I just don't see that changing, barring maybe an economic disaster or something. So anyways, guys, those are my thoughts, my tips, my ideas for how to speed up the wait process. Be a good person. It's wholly on you to establish a purchase history and a nice working relationship. And it might help to go with one of the newer sales associates as opposed to the top dog at the store, if that makes sense. So thanks for taking the time to watch. I appreciate it. Let me know if you have any questions, and we'll see you in the next video.